For the past several years, I have explored many worlds within different gacha games, but none of them seem to capture the vibe that Zenless Zone Zero has. And I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way. Logging into this game feels like you're coming home to a cozy neighborhood on a holiday. You want to live in this world. But why is that? Believe it or not, this game is made to save money. Everyone knows that Genshin is the most profitable gacha game of all time, earning over $5 billion since its launch 4 years ago. But not a lot of people know that it is also the most expensive game ever made at roughly $700 million. While it's still a good return on investment, it's pretty obvious that Hoyoverse doesn't want any more Genshin-level games in their catalog. Their focus has switched to making games with a smaller cost of production, but potentially the same or bigger profit. In other words, they want to become more efficient at making money. That's why their latest games, Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero, tried their best to limit the production costs and the amount of work given to the developers. And it seems to be working pretty well. Star Rail made more than Genshin monthly for the first time earlier this year, and Zenless Zone Zero immediately became the biggest gacha game by revenue at launch. If they keep this up for another 4 years, they will match Genshin's revenue with a far smaller budget. That cost limitation created some creative decisions, which further proves the old design principle, limitations breed creativity. One of those decisions was to focus their effort on making a smaller open world. So instead of making a big playable area that barely has anything in it, they can increase the level of detail in every corner of this small area. That is the first secret why their world feels so good to explore. It is immersive. The level of detail in this game has reached the point where your mind starts to associate everything in this game with what you'll find in the real world. Every building has a reason why it's there. Every object is exactly where you'll find them in the right places. Level of detail is not just about the quality of the textures used in the game or the amount of polygons in the model. It's also about the logical placement and the reason behind why an object has to be there. This world has enough details to feel like a real place. This is not the case for most other gacha games. For example, this is Jinzo in Wuthering Waves. Yes, your mind has mapped the important shops and crafting spots in the city, but you don't have a deep connection to it. Yes, it is a bigger city, but you don't fully understand what each of those buildings do. If the developer suddenly switch the random buildings around, I doubt a lot of players will notice. Here's another example. Can your eyes believe that this is a store that sells food products? No. How about this one? Yes, much better. The products are there in the aisles and also in front of those cute bamboos. No, the reason is not because these games are two different genres. It's because there are not enough details for you to believe that it's a real store. Seeing is believing. And by the way, it's also not just because Zenless has a smaller world. Honkai Star Rail has the same small open world design, but if you compare Belobog and Lumina Square, Belobog still doesn't feel immersive because of the lack of detail. Another big advantage of having a detailed world is that it allows for environmental world building. Have you ever wondered how a bamboo gets recharged? There you go. Can you tell the personality of the two people who live in these rooms? Yes, you can. No yapping is required, show, don't tell. Of course, the level of detail can only get you so far. The second secret to make the world feel good to explore is to create the perfect vibe. The music definitely helps make these detailed environments feel homely. There is a certain nostalgia embedded within the music itself. The choice of the architectural design used in this game also contributes in making the world feel welcoming. New Eridu is inspired by the Japanese city layout. If you watch any slice of life anime, you will be familiar with these narrow streets, paid parking spots, and small cars. The Japanese city layout prioritizes pedestrians over cars, which is perfect for a game where you have to walk around a lot. It keeps the buildings close together and minimizes empty space. This game will not look good if it is based on a US city layout with a football field parking lot and wide open roads. The last secret in making the world feel good to explore is the social aspect of the exploration, to encourage you to make new memories while exploring it. Humans are inherently curious social creatures. When you do find these characters, you will inevitably want to stop by and listen. You want to see and hear a slice of their life, and then you learn about their lives slightly better. By doing so, you accidentally create a social connection, whether you realize it or not. But that is just some passive encounters. The game goes a step further by allowing you to actively seek them out to do various events that help you understand them better. All of those combine, and suddenly, New Eridu stops being just a place. It is now a playground. Your playground. This is the place where you hang out and make new memories with its people. They are now your family. No matter what happens in the story, this world is a world worth saving. And that is why the world of Zenless Zone Zero feels so great to explore. As always, before I end this video, I don't want anyone to see my comparison to other games in this video as an attack. Instead, my comparison is meant as feedback to these games. I want all gacha game worlds to have great immersion and high amount of detail. Because the real world sucks. If we can have a more immersive world where we can lose our minds in, a world where we actually matter, then I think it's worth giving this feedback. If you want to help your favorite game improve in quality, you can start a discussion in the player base to push for improvements, or leave your feedback when they ask for it in the surveys. But what do you think? Do you think Zenless Zone Zero has made a great world to enjoy? What did you enjoy the most out of this world? Please do share them in the comment section down below. I always reply to my comment section, and I would like to know what other gacha games where you feel like you want to live in it. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see less drama and more analysis videos like this in your YouTube recommendation page. And with that, I think I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.